Yo! What is up, everybody, and welcome. Oh, John, you got to turn that off, buddy. John, you're killing me.
Up, everybody?
There you go. You're killing me with that reverb, buddy.
Oh, John, you got
How about
There
now?
we go. There we go. Welcome, everybody, to the second annual off-season, if you will, show here at Roughing the Passer. Once again, my name, as always, is the DH, and I'm joined right over here by my man Booger McFarland, and my co-host, as always, Mr. John Newman. John, how you doing today, bud?
Good. I got Tom Brady behind me. You can see his foot.
I hear you. Apologize in advance, guys. Stuffier than all anything. Jude's been fighting the sniffles, and Dad fought it as long as he could, but he got him. So bear with me today. But guys,
as long as it's not coronavirus.
That it is. So John, what's been going on with you, man?
Nothing. Watching some XFL games, which again, surprisingly, are still entertaining. Better than the AAF, which is a distant memory now. And getting ready again. We're 1 week closer to the NFL, and tonight we're going to talk about quarterbacks and where some of these guys might wind up if they change locations.
No, absolutely. And guys, like John said, today, while we will be focusing on a couple of different things, we are going to be focusing more along the lines of the quarterbacks. As John said, this offseason, it looks like we're going to have a ton of turnaround, especially when it comes to quarterbacks, which is something that does not happen often. I mean, the quarterbacks that normally, flip-flop and things like that, John, they're the backups. They're the third stringers. They're the Colt McCoys, the Danny Werfels, the Jimmy Clausens. But this year, you've got an incredible amount of just star-powered quarterbacks that are going to be hitting the market. And guys, please, as we do the show, if there's any question that you do have, call in, ask us. It does not have to be about quarterbacks. If you would just like to say something about your team, anything, please call in. But John, before we dive on into everything, I want to pull up the kind of the list of quarterbacks real quick that are available. Some of the big ones. There's obviously a lot more that are listed here, but I want to pull up some of them and have you go through them for everybody real quick.
Yeah, and the funny thing, everything you said is right on the money. There's going to be some starters changing teams, and it's a lot of times it's just via free agency. This time, I think we're going to see a couple trades go down as well. So it's not going to be all free agent moves. Some guys are probably going to get dealt. A guy you don't even see who's not on that list right there is Matt Stafford, who's rumored to be on the trade block. So he's going to be someone I talk about today, and I think he's going to get traded. I'll tell you where, in my opinion. Could be completely wrong. That's the beauty of doing this. It's all speculation. So like you said, never before has this quarterback list, to my knowledge, and I'm 47 years old, I don't remember a quarterback this long, this kind of talent in one off season. So, a lot of things, Drew. I just read today that a lot of these moves are not happening because everyone's waiting for the Tom Brady shoe to drop, whatever that might be.
Yeah.
So he's kind of holding a lot of these other moves up with what he finally decides to do.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. A lot of this, the dominoes, so to speak, will not begin to fall until Tom Brady makes his decision. It's that big of a decision. I mean, the reports have come out this week that the Raiders want to offer him 2 years, $60 million. Now I know a lot of that's going to be, guaranteed money, so the cap hit's not near what that number, truly seems to be. But that's astronomical money for Brady, and if Brady chooses to go there, then that changes the entire complexity of this market. So you're right. We're at this moment right now where we're in a standstill, kind of like when I hearken it back to LeBron in the NBA. Yeah. If LeBron's a free agent or Giannis next year, not a single major move is going to happen until we know where those guys are going to go.
Yeah. And the Raiders, if let's say he goes to the Raiders, I mean, that's just to sell tickets. I mean, that to me, that they might be a little bit better with him there over Derek Carr, but I don't think that makes them even necessarily a playoff team unless they add some other pieces. And now I'm reading today, Derek Carr is all pissed off, as he probably should be. Here you are seeing your team start to dance with another quarterback. And I don't, it doesn't matter that it's Tom Brady. If you're Derek Carr, how can you not be rubbed the wrong way? You're basically telling you, like, we're not really satisfied. We're entertaining other potential people for your position. So I don't think that's going to end well, whether they get Brady or they don't get Brady. I think the Derek Carr, John Gruden stuff has gotten stale, and I think they're going to have a different quarterback, not named Derek Carr's. And now you add probably Derek Carr's name to this list about changing locations.
Yeah.
Too.
No, 100%. Yeah. The funny thing is, we're showing this list right here, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 names on this list. I guarantee you, in a couple of months, we'll be looking back at how this list panned out. But I'll guarantee you, there's 7 or 8 pretty high quality names on this list that aren't included because they haven't really made it known that they're going to hit the market yet.
Yeah. And trades and cuts.
Yeah.
Guys are going to be cut too. There's certain dates where if they're cut by a certain date, the team saves money. So certain guys are going to get cut that we're not even going to talk about necessarily today, that we'll be talking about at a future date. And again, with the list everyone sees on the screen here, you probably could add Matt Stafford and Derek Carr now too, because they may be having different colored jerseys on.
No, 100%. And one thing I will say, it's going to be an absolutely crazy, crazy, crazy offseason. So, John, obviously, we're touching on quarterbacks today. So we're going to start with the very, very, very first one, the domino that has to fall before all these other ones fall. So when it comes to Mr. Tom Brady, and I will defer to you, you won the coin toss. If you would like me to go first or you, I will allow you that option. So who's going first?
I'll go first. I'll go first since I'm probably going to be wrong anyway. Might as well just get it. Wrap the Band-Aid, just rip it up. With Tom Brady, it depends on what day it is. Yesterday I might have said I think he stays with the Patriots. I don't see him on another team, but now I'm reading or hearing that he's had some really bad interactions with the Patriots. So right. I'm gonna, it's hard to even see him in another uniform. But I'm going to go with what I said when they lost the playoff game to the Titans. I think he's going to LA Chargers. I think he's going to be a Charger. I think they got more pieces on the chessboard than the Raiders do. It's his home state. I think he wants to finish off near his parents. His parents are not young folks anymore. I think he knows he's realistically probably seen his last Super Bowl anyway. So even if he stayed in New England, I don't think he makes the Super Bowl. So I think at this point he just wants to play a couple years out in his home state, close to his parents, where they can come see him play probably a lot more than they did in New England. And I'm going to go with the Chargers. I think there's just more weapons in play there for him, receiver-wise. So
I like
I'm
that.
Go, yeah.
I like that. That's a solid pick. He's got players around him. They need to re-sign Hunter Henry. I think they undervalue him like crazy. I think they would be absurd to let him go unless they're going to spend big money bringing someone else in. I think you need to give Hunter Henry that extra year. But guys, before I give you my answer, please, I see a ton of you guys watching, and I think it is awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in. But please call in, comment, let us know where you think some of these quarterbacks end up. If you disagree with us, if you're a Pats fan and you think Brady's staying in New England, because I'll tell you right now, I don't think he is, so get ready. Call in. Let us know what you think. This show is about you guys. Having said that, John, Tom Brady, you just mentioned a team that I think he'd do good with. I think that the Tennessee Titans would be a great fit for him, barring they sign Derrick Henry. Problem is I don't think they signed Derrick Henry. I think Derrick Henry becomes a free agency. I think this is one of those teams that takes a step back and actually does not make the playoffs next year, as there's always about 50% turnover. Yep. So I don't know if Brady wants to go to a team that has that possibility of missing. So when I look at a team, I look at Brady going one place, and that's Las Vegas. And I know it's the popular pick. I know it's the sexy pick. I know this. However, you've seen Tom Brady at the UFC events. He's spoken countless times how much he loves Vegas. He vacations there a lot with his family. His family has sold his house and apparently is looking in California. Well, guess what? He plays in LA. That's close enough to go see his kids as much as he wants. So I don't take that as an LA move. I look at that as more of a Vegas move. Vegas needs somebody that's going to be the face of that franchise. Derek Carr's not it. Gruden's not sold on him. He never has been. And so I think this sets up perfect. It's a new franchise, a new city, a ton of expectations. You need to make a splash. John Gruden's not that splash. Derek Carr's not that splash. You let Khalil Mack walk for nothing, so he's not that splash. To me, when you look at billboards in just a couple of months in Vegas, Brady is who you see on all those billboards.
Yeah, and you're right. He has been seen with talking to Gruden. Like you said, he's been seen in Vegas. I wouldn't be shocked. I guess I'm looking – when I picked the Chargers, I kind of picked it from a selfish perspective, thinking they're just a better team. But again, I think at the end of the day, he knows he's probably seen his last Super Bowl at this point.
Yeah.
So now it's just where do I want to just play my last 2 years or year?
Yeah.
We don't even know. He might sign for 2 and then just retire after 1. So we have no idea what's rolling around in his head. But I think you're right. I think wherever he goes, it's going to be his call, obviously. And I think he knows. Again, he can't really bank on another Super Bowl anymore at this point. Even staying with the Patriots, Drew, I don't think they're not the favorites, not at all.
God no.
So
If you
knows
put
that.
if you put those rosters together again and even give them the draft, forget free agency because that can change everything. But if you gave every team in that conference a draft to build up, the Patriots would be a 4 or 5 seed in my mind. Tops.
Yeah. So I think now it's just where does he want to play out his last year or two? Where is he going to be comfortable? What works for his family, including his mom and dad? And so maybe, like you said, Vegas is, we think, well, it's in Nevada. It's very close to California. So you might as well just call it pretty close to California because it is. So you might be right. I got a feeling, we could both be wrong and he goes back to Foxborough. But I think if he leaves, it's probably for one of the two teams we just talked about.
All right, so you've got Tom Brady right there. Let's dive right down the next man on the list, the man from North Carolina. I hate the rumors I hear about this man, but Philip Rivers. So
I'll let you go. I'll let you go first this time.
Man, fuck you. No. All right, Philip Rivers. Now, Philip Rivers, if I had any say in the matter, Philip Rivers would go anywhere but Carolina. However, I seem to think whether we get rid of Cam or not, whether Cam's on the roster or not, I honestly think Philip Rivers accepts a backup role because that's what he is now, wants to go home, and I think you see Philip Rivers, sadly, in Carolina battling it out against whatever quarterback. Now, I will say this. If Cam gets traded, all this goes out the window. This is as of right now. If Cam gets traded, we've got our eye on the quarterback of the future, and it sure as hell is not that man right there. But if Cam is there, I could see it happen. Now, John, before you answer, Todd Kapora, what's up, Todd? Great guy. Thank you so much for commenting. He asked Rivers to Indy. So, John, who's your pick for Rivers, and what do you think about Indy?
Well, I don't think it's Indy.
Okay.
I think they. I got a guy going to Indy. I won't say who it is yet, but I will just say it's going to be a younger guy. I think Indianapolis believes they're not very far away, and I don't.
They're not.
Yeah, and I don't think Rivers a guy right now on his last legs. Some people think he should even just retire and not play. So I don't think Indianapolis is going to be the team. I see Rivers. I'm not going to say Carolina. I'm going to go a different team here too. I think I'm not even saying he starts. Like you said, he might go to Carolina as a backup. I think he's going to Jacksonville, and he's going to battle it out with Gardner Minshew for the starting job.
I could see that.
They're going to get rid of Foles, so that's why Foles is on this list. It's going to be Rivers. To me, it's going to be Rivers and Minshew in Jacksonville. With one of them's going to come out as a starter there. Who? I think the leader would be the younger Minshew, unless he absolutely looks terrible. I think the Coach Marone is going to say we have an open quarterback competition here, which is one of the reasons I think he goes to Jacksonville, because I think he wants an honest, fair shot to get another starting job. I think Jacksonville. I'm not saying he wins the job, but I think he goes in there with a shot to get it.
No, and what you just said is dead on, and something that, to tell you the truth, I really didn't think about. Anywhere I see him going, since he has the choice now, since they moved on from him, he can go where he wants. I do think he's going to want to go somewhere where I think he's going to find that the amount of just, we're going to plug you in and be our starter right away, those offers are gone. Yeah. So he's gonna have to take with something where, hey, I'm gonna have to go in here. I'm gonna have to fight for a job, and that's a good situation for him to do that. I completely agree, but I also 1,000% agree with Todd Corporer right now, because Indy is just a few pieces away. I don't think they're sold on Brissett. Let's be honest.
No, I don't.
Brissett spent most of his prime sitting his ass on the bench, supposed to be learning how to play football. He should have jumped out here and been able to feel this game and go right away. I don't think he's the answer there. And I don't think Rivers is the answer there. But I think this is another one of those positions where he sees who the starting quarterback is, thinks to himself, dude, I'm better than this guy. And so here we go. We go after him. We see what happens. I mean, that's what I'm looking at here. And like Todd says, they're close to a playoff team. They got a veteran quarterback. A veteran quarterback could push them to being a playoff team, what he's saying. And Rivers is that guy. He's not going to have to throw for 4,000 to 5,000 yards and 35, 40 touchdowns. They've got a running game. It's a system that works for them. Now, the more I think about this, I do like Rivers as maybe one of my 2 or 3 places. Jacksonville's a great one, but I do like Indy as a possibility for Phillip Rivers here.
The only reason I don't see it is, Brissett actually started out very good. Everyone was buying his cards up and thought he was the heir apparent for Luck. We're going to be fine. And what got him into trouble, Drew? He started throwing what? Interceptions.
Oh, yeah.
Well, what is Phillip Rivers famous for the last year or two? Leading one of the league leaders. Leading the league. If it wasn't for Jameis Winston, Phillip Rivers would lead the league in interceptions. So I just think they could go with Brissett, a younger guy who can make plays with his legs and throw a pick, and a guy who can't make plays with his legs and throws picks. I could be wrong. That's the beauty of the show, and doing this is fun. I don't see Rivers there, but I do see another guy there. We'll wait till we get to him, but
no, absolutely. And guys, like I said, I just posted the link in the comments. Guys, all you got to do, you do not have to be on video. You do not have to have a computer, a webcam, or anything. Literally, you click the link, allow access to your microphone, your camera if you want, and you're on. So please call in and talk to us today. We would love to talk to some of you guys. So here we go. Now to one of the more exciting names on this list for me. And that, of course, is Teddy B. Now, this is a man that, if anyone remembers, Teddy Bridgewater, for those of you living under a rock. But, this is a guy who, one of the most tragic stories ever. In the middle of practice, suffers what can only be described as probably the most fluke, ridiculous injury in the history of football. Fights back, spends almost 2 full years away from football, fights back, learns to basically walk again, gets into New Orleans, has his moments. This year, Breeze goes down. He steps in, plays great. So now, obviously, the NFL. The hype's all over him. Teddy B now, a free agent. Drew Brees re-signed. Taysom Hill, they're probably going to franchise or try and keep him around. Hill or Bridgewater has to go. Which one of them goes, and where does Teddy B end up?
Well, we're just talking about him. This is your newest, to me, this is your newest Indianapolis Colt right here.
Okay.
I think the Colts go younger. I think, someone might say, well, Bridgewater, Brissett, they're sort of similar.
No, they're not. They're not in the least. No.
They're not. And so I think they go Bridgewater. I think they try to keep Brissett as the backup. Well, I don't know if they can do that or not, but I think they're going to pay Teddy Bridgewater. I think that's what they think is going to be the difference for him. Bridgewater does not turn the ball over that much. And so I think that's what really hurt the Colts down the stretch were turnovers. And so I think if they think they get a quarterback like Bridgewater who can run a little bit if he needs to, not going to turn the ball over. And, they got Marlon Mack. They got T.Y. Hilton. They got other receivers. I think they think Bridgewater is going to be the difference maker, and I think they're going to pay him. And I think he's your new Indianapolis Colts quarterback.
Nice. Well, I mean, yeah, I could 110% see that happen. I think Bridgewater fits there very well. I think he could be the player to take them over the top. I have a ton of faith in Teddy Bridgewater. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. But like you said, just like Rivers, he's not a guy that's going to go out and win you a bunch of games. You can't count on him to win you 8 games a year. But what you can count on him to do is keep you in contention, limit the turnovers, and run the offense the way it needs to be run. Therefore, if the other 50-some players on your team do their job, you're going to be a playoff team and you're going to be a good team. That's the type of quarterback Bridgewater is. He needs everything around him, but it could end up being a perfect situation. So, despite the fact that I said I like Rivers in Indy, John, you're convincing me here that Teddy B might not be such a bad idea for Indy, but my actual spot for Teddy B is going to shock you. Maybe not, since I just said it. I think Teddy B ends up being the stopgap quarterback with a 1-year rental in Carolina. I think Cam leaves. I don't think we get the quarterback we want in the draft. I think we plan on next year's draft. And we have Teddy B come in here along with possibly Will Greer to fight it out, depending how long we want to take. And I see Teddy B in Carolina running that offense. He's familiar with the type of offense. It doesn't rely on too much of stuff. It plays to his strengths. I like this situation. I think Teddy B is actually the person that replaces Cam.
Yeah. Here's the only thing that and you're the Carolina guy, so you can tell me. I think Bridgewater wants more than a 1-year deal. I think he's sort of tired of kind of bouncing around from.
Well, one good thing is Rule give him a fucking lifetime contract if he says the right things in the meetings. Jesus Christ, he's signing everybody to absurd deals.
Well,
but there's ways around that. You front load the deal. You put a lot of it in signing bonus, so it doesn't even touch salary cap to begin with. Panthers' new ownership has plenty of money to be able to finally afford signing bonuses. Give him a 4-year deal. Opt out after 2. See how it works. Even if it doesn't work after 1, you still got a guy on an expiring contract to get rid of. You can sign him to a long-term deal when in actuality, all it is a 1 or 2 year deal.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. I don't even disagree with you. I'm going to still stick with Indy. I just think someone's going to pay him 2 to 3 years, and I think that's what he wants. I think he's tired of. He goes to New Orleans, he looks good, and now he's out. Yeah. I think he wants 100%. A little more. I think he wants a little more of a guarantee. Like, I'm going to be here 2 to 3 years, and if I play well, that might go into longer. I think he wants something like that. I think Indy's going to be that team. The promise that, because I don't think they're going to be drafting high enough in the next 3, 4, 5 years anyway to get one of these, if you will, franchise quarterbacks, and they know they probably have to do it via free agency.
Yeah. No. I completely agree with you. All right, so now we'll move on to our next quarterback on the list, and I will let you start with this one.
All right.
So go right ahead, my friend.
Cam Newton. Ugh. Well, I think I heard your Tom Brady explanation, and you kind of convinced me it was a possibility. But if it's not Tom Brady, I can see Cam Newton as a Las Vegas Raider. I think the Raiders have draft picks. They can trade with Carolina if let's say Brady does what I predicted, he goes to the Chargers. Then I think the Raiders and Carr they're headed for a divorce anyway. So I think the Raiders trade with Carolina, some draft picks, get Cam Newton, and hitch their wagon there. I think I think the Carr deal. I think they're not going to be able to mend those fences. So
no, keep going real quick.
I got it's crazy. I got Cam Newton as a Raider. I just in my mind I can almost see that silver and black on him. It's kind of
well, it fits. But before I answer where I think Cam Newton's going is we've got Garrett Edward Iverson, my man, on the line. Thanks, Garrett, for watching the show and for commenting. But John, I don't know if he was necessarily asking this as a question or more of a statement, but it really does make you think here. How many franchise quarterbacks actually were the best quarterback drafted that year or the best quarterback signed that year? I mean, how often does that happen?
Yeah.
Say Joe Burrow.
I probably without looking at all the 32 stars, I'd probably say 50-50. Yeah. I mean, Tom Brady was the sixth round. Tom Brady was a sixth-round draft pick. If you watch his combine film, I can do better than that. Yeah. All right, but I'm not a six-time Super Bowl winning quarterback now either. So it is true. Sometimes it's the guys you don't always talk about. We talk about Burrow. I love Burrow. I think he is the real deal. I don't know how that's going to play out in Cincinnati. That's a show in itself. But who's to say Tua or Herbert it doesn't become the best player in the draft, depending on. Yeah. Sometimes you notice just as well as I do. Sometimes it's just where they go and who drafts you.
Oh, yeah. Scheme has a ton to do with it, and that's why you'll never truly, truly know. And that's why, getting back to this list here, Cam, if it's me, the best scheme for him, the best team that could utilize his skill set to their advantage the best, you won't believe I'm about to say this, but I agree with you. The Raiders. Yeah. They're set up for it. If you gave Gruden has always been a diehard Cam fan since day one, since he did those quarterback schools. He's loved his skill set, and you can find 20 or 30 different clips about how he says he dreams of coaching him one day. This was before he was back into coaching. John Gruden wants to coach Cam Newton. Now, I know a lot of Panther fans are sitting here saying, we read these news. And guys, if you're reading Buzzsaw Politics or catscratchfever.org/com/Panthers and getting your news from there, I hate to tell you, it's fucking bullshit. So let's stick to some actual news that we've gotten, some from sources that I've talked to that work with the organization. These comments that are being put out by both the team and him, every single one is strategic. Diagnose every single word, and you can see exactly what's going on. Cam can say all he wants. He's supposed to say he wants to stay in Carolina.
Yeah.
It's not happening. It's not happening. Yeah. But, John, you convinced me. The Los Angeles Raiders have the absolute perfect system for Cam Newton. The one other place that I could possibly see him fitting into and being good in is, God, I hate to say this, Dallas. But I don't think that happens. I don't think they switch Dak and Cam. So I throw that out there just as, scheme-wise. So Cam, for me, I'm looking at LA. So let's move on now to the Ginger himself. The mighty Ginger Man, finally moving teams. Andy Dalton. a man that, in my opinion, does not get near enough credit for the shit talent he's had around him and what he's done with that shit talent. What do you where's Andy Dalton going next year?
You want me to pick? You want me to go first?
Go first.
You haven't went first.
All right. Okay.
Go ahead, Drew.
All right. Andy Dalton ends up in one place, Tampa Bay. And that's when Jameis Winston can't demands too much. They go through this is one of those trades that I think, if it's a trade, no matter what it ends up being, goes through the draft. Possibly a draft day trade, probably later on, depending. Looking at where the draft picks fall, I don't see it happening. I see Andy Dalton taking over in Tampa Bay. I see Jameis Winston gone. I don't see him going far, hint, as I'll talk to a little bit later. But I see Jameis Winston's era in Tampa gone. It's done. And Bruce Arians, quote unquote, the quarterback whisperer. Well, he was whispering all along. Jameis Winston's just a dumb fuck. I know him. I've met him. So he can whisper all he wants. Jameis Winston don't understand a damn thing he's saying. So I 100% think that Andy Dalton will be your new Tampa Bay quarterback.
All right. I don't see that, but that's why we're doing
Good. Yeah, that's why we do this show.
So before I tell you where I think he winds up, let's talk about what the experts are predicting. And so a lot of things.
Hold on. What the experts predicted, I just told you where it was going.
Yeah, no, I've been reading that they think if Brady leaves New England, Dalton comes in there. I don't see that. I can see
him coming in as a backup, not a starter.
Dalton. I don't think Dalton wants to be the guy that replaces Tom Brady. And so where do I think? I see that this is crazy. You know where I see him going? He stayed. It's funny. He said that Garrett said the Steelers. I think he stays in division.
Yeah.
And I think he stays in state. I think he's your next Cleveland Browns, and I think they got an insurance policy for Baker if Baker struggles again. So if Baker, wow. I think they want to put a little pressure. You know, the thing that Baker didn't have last year in Cleveland was anybody that could take his job. He knew he was the guy. He could throw 5 interceptions. Who they're not bringing anyone else in because there was no one else behind him that was even remotely talented. So I think the Browns sign or trade for Andy Dalton, maybe a draft pick, is kind of insurance for Baker. And I think they even tell Dalton, listen, if Baker struggles or has a bad game, we're going to get you in here. You're going to play. Be ready. And I think I think he goes there with no pressure. I think he wants to not. I think Andy Dalton's got the personality that he doesn't need to be promised a starting job. I think he just needs to be promised an active role on the team, and whether that's a veteran backup.
Okay. Well, hold on just one moment. I have to confer with somebody. Really? Okay. Yeah. All right. So after talking to Booger, which is exactly what I thought, I got to go with Garrett right here, man. Steelers makes perfect sense, and I'll tell you why. Backup quarterback competition. You guys do not have a clear starter. Yeah. I think he's the type of person that could go in and let's be honest, Tomlin gets the best out of his players. I'm actually changing my vote because I didn't even consider that this could possibly be an option until Garrett said it. Steelers, I absolutely love. I know you would hate the ginger putting on the black and gold.
No, I'm going to be honest with you. I wouldn't even be opposed. He's better. Let's be real. After Roethlisberger, he's better than anyone
you have.
So yes. I'm being honest. So I'm not opposed to it. I would like it. I just don't see it. I don't see it happening. They're really up. they're really up against the cap, Drew.
Yeah.
I don't think they got the space. The Steelers, the one thing they do wrong is they sort of hang on to guys too long. They give people too many chances. So I think they're going to give Mason Rudolph another year. I think they're also going to draft Jalen Hurts with their compensatory pick from Oklahoma and have him go against Rudolph and maybe have, they usually go with 3 quarterbacks. So I think the 3 quarterbacks for the Steelers in 2020 are going to be Big Ben, Mason Rudolph, and Jalen Hurts. But
nice.
I would take Andy. If you're asking me, I would have no problem with Andy Dalton. I just don't see it happening. So
okay. Well, Garrett, that was an absolutely excellent.
It makes sense. No,
it makes beautiful sense, and very rarely do we get comments on here that make sense. So please call in anytime, buddy.
Garrett makes sense. I just know how the Steelers operate in their front office.
All right.
I think that's the reason it doesn't happen.
Okay, now on to the next one. We just went over Mr. Andy Dalton, and man, I've been waiting to say this name for just a little bit.
Oh, we lost Drew. So I'm going to keep going. Oh, there's it coming back. Oh, you're back.
Okay. All right. So
Nick Foles.
Big Dick Nick. I've been wanting to say his name all day. So there we go. Big Dick Nick Foles. John, I'm going to let you start off with this one here since I started off on the last one. But Nick Foles, dude, the man, I feel bad for this dude. This man just bounces around from place to place. He's like Tim Tebow, except for he's a good quarterback. B, he probably fucks and drinks. But C, all he does is win. But yet he can never land onto a team. So where does Big Nick land? And does he finally find that team where he can stay on them for a year or two?
All right. You want me to tell you?
Of course I do.
He's going back to the NFC.
Oh, geez.
He's going to be your newest Chicago Bears.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
He's going to Chicago.
You scared the shit out of me for a minute.
You thought I was going to say Carolina?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I think he's going to the Bears. I think the Bears don't like Trubisky. I think they're sort of stuck with him. But I also think they want to bring in a quarterback who, when Trubisky has that shitty game, they can say, "Have a seat, kid. Watch how a veteran can do this job." And I think Nick Foles is going to be that guy. And if Nick Foles plays good in Chicago, and he has a chance to, I think it gives Chicago an out to dump Trubisky. If Foles comes in there, plays well, they can then say, "Listen, Trubisky, we assessed him wrong. We reached, we traded up, we made a mistake. Our bad. What are we going to do? You can't go back and get a mulligan. So we got a veteran in here. We'll eventually get another younger quarterback at some point, but we got a veteran in here that can win us some games." I see Foles coming in there, probably wrestles that starting job away, and the Bears will be a dark horse playoff team. I'm not saying for sure, but I think they got a better shot making the postseason with Foles than with Trubisky. And they got players there. Don't let them kid you. With Tariq Cohen and
big time.
I love David Montgomery. I like Anthony Miller and Allen Robinson. They got some offense. Trubisky, everyone's, well, he doesn't have a lot. They have weapons. Trubisky's the problem. He's inaccurate and he throws. He trusts his arm too much, where he throws it into traffic and he gives up the possession. So I think they go with Foles, a smarter guy who's not going to try to throw it between two defenders and get picked off. And they're going to trust their offense, and their defense is not bad. And I think Foles goes to Chicago.
Nice. I cannot disagree with that at all. I think that's a great spot for him. And one thing you're dead honest on is and right on is that Trubisky is the problem in Chicago. They have one of the best defenses in the league. They've got wide receivers. They've got a good offensive line. They've got a decent running back with Montgomery, who in 2 years is going to be a very serviceable running back. You've got everything you need. You've got cap-friendly contracts. You've got everything you need except for one thing, that fucking quarterback. And Trubisky, I mean, I know there's a lot of Trubisky lovers. I'm surprised a lot of people haven't commented defending him yet. But I know a lot of people may not be on tonight. But Trubisky, I don't know, man. He's not the answer in Chicago.
No, he's not.
And I'm 100% with you. When you look at someone like Big Dick Nick, that is a man that can walk into a huddle. And to me, I look at it as a big group of guys going into the huddle for a play. They all look at Trubisky. Do you have faith in him? No. But if Big Dick Nick struts all up into that huddle, with his swagger that he does, and he calls that play, do you think those other 10 people, 11 people have his back and believe in what he's doing? Yes.
Got a Super Bowl ring.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
This is the out. Here's the thing, Drew. Not the.
No, go ahead.
Here's the out. It gives Chicago. They can bench Trubisky for a Super Bowl winning quarterback. They don't have now. It makes that it's very easier to say, hey, we benched a young kid that's struggling for a Super Bowl winning quarterback that we brought in here to win games. Yeah. They didn't have that kind of guy, so. It was Trubisky or bust. Now it's not Trubisky or bust. They have if Foles goes there, they have the way to sit down Trubisky and not feel guilty. Chicago's biggest problem is they stick up, they defend their guy, and I understand
to a major fault.
But I understand why they do it because they traded up. They're trying not to look like they have egg on their face. But unfortunately, the proof's in the pudding. That at some point, even they will have to say, "We swung and we missed here." And here's what we can do for the meantime with a stopgap who can win us some games.
Yeah, well, Big Dick Nick, I think you're going to actually see him in Chicago. If there's one I felt strongest about out of all these picks, it's him right here. So we got 2 more and then a couple other things, and we got to hurry this up here.
All right, I'm going to let you go first on Winston because my pick is pretty boring. So go ahead.
Yeah, mine is too. Jameis Winston. You will not be the quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and you next year, my friend, will be a backup for you can take a pick of about 20 different teams, but you have lost your starting job. The only way Jameis Winston gets another starting job in the NFL is if the guy he's backing up goes down and gets hurt. Now, if he steps up and starts performing and benching him makes him realize, oh yeah, I can play quarterback, or at least I used to be able to. If that wakes him up, awesome. Good for him. As long as you're not in the Panthers division, go kick some ass now. But I don't see him as a starter. I see him as a backup, and you could probably name 10 to 12 teams, and there you go.
Well, I said my pick is going to be boring. I see him. I'm not saying he's great. I'm not saying Tampa Bay or Bruce Arians is in love with him. I see him in Tampa Bay again. It may not even be as a starter. I just don't think they're going to be able to move him. I don't think anyone really is going to really, back up the Brinks truck or make a real trade offer. So I think he stays in Tampa Bay and with a short leash. I think they bring someone else in, maybe even someone else, Drew, like a Ryan Fitzpatrick again, just a veteran that when Jameis has that 4 interception game, they can say take a couple weeks off. We'll roll with the veteran, study in the film room, pay attention in practice, and maybe you can get back on the field again. So I think he stays in Tampa Bay, not so much because they love him. I just think they're sort of stuck for, at least for another year with him.
Well, they might be stuck with him for another year, at least do another training camp. But Garrett, once again, when you feel better, buddy, I hope you come on and call and talk on the show because I'd love to talk football with you because right here, this comment right here, this could be where Jameis Winston is in 2 years. Yeah. If the XFL lasts and Jameis Winston has another year like last year, I could see him headed towards the XFL, as they've already said quarterback contracts will increase like tenfold next year. So moving on into our last quarterback before we get into one of my favorite second segments of the show. And of course, that's Mr. Diggity Dak Prescott. America's team's quarterback, blah-de-dee, fuck off. But Dak Prescott, not too much longer left. Apparently the fucker thinks he's worth, $40 million? I find that humorous. Just go make another 10 Dannon commercials if you want the 5-10 million, bro. I mean, Cam Newton gifted you that damn endorsement by being nice to a female reporter for no fucking reason. But apparently Dak wants $40 million. Where is Dak Prescott playing next year?
For Dannon. No.
Seriously.
I think he's another guy I don't see changing teams. Yeah. I don't think he's not going to get to 40 million. He's going to get probably franchise tag, whatever that works out to. I think, what is it, 30, something between 32 and 35, which I don't even think he's worth that. I think we talked about this during the season, and you'll agree. Jerry Jones falls in love with his dudes.
Oh, yeah, big time. They're his kids. They're his kids.
Dak is one of those guys. I know he's been kind of cold to the Cowboys, and he told them he's not going to be training in-house in the offseason like he usually does. Kind of a big FU to Dallas. Dak's a pretty quiet dude, so that actually spoke volumes when he does something like that.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a love affair as it once was. They're not going to move off Dak. They're going to franchise him. I don't. There's rumors that they're trying to trade up and get a Tua. I don't see them number one being able to do that. I think even if they got the shot to trade up, Drew, I think Jerry Jones gets cold feet and just says, "Let's franchise Dak." We kind of know.
I don't even know if it's cold feet, honestly. I just think if that trade starts to happen, I think anyone dealing with Jerry is going to look right at him and be like, boy, you desperate as hell. I ain't going to do this deal for you unless you give me more. And then it's going to empty, because if he's making those kind of deals, I mean, that's him ultra desperate. And that's what I look at least.
Yeah. I just think if it's for Tua, I think the people in that room, in Dallas's war room, are probably saying, listen, we're trading up for a guy coming off a serious injury. We're taking a real risk here. And, we're not saying Dak is the greatest quarterback, because he's not, but he's definitely probably a safer play. Let's not pull the trigger on the trade. I'm reading that Joe Burrow would like to be a Cowboy. I don't know if that deal happens. The Bengals are famous for being very stubborn to a fault. That's why they're the Bengals. And so I think the Bengals take Burrow. I don't know how that really works, but he don't want to go there, and you're going to pick him, and you're going to have probably a disgruntled guy.
Well, I'm going to tell you right there, man, I hope he goes there, and I hope he's disgruntled, because I'm telling you right now what's going to happen. Hold on, we do have a comment I would like to hear. Say, gang, gang, Bill Walters. I don't know exactly. I'm sure that's a Packers reference. Please feel free to call in, bud. You simply click the link. Let us know what you think about your Packers. If you'd like to tell us what you think about your Packers are going to be doing this year, anything, call in. Let us know any questions you have, any comments you have. If you just like to hop on and say "gang, gang," whatever that,
I don't know.
is.
Was that while we were talking about Jameis Winston? Does he think Jameis Winston is going to Green Bay?
Oh God, I don't know, but hopefully he
It ain't
answers.
gonna be Dak Prescott. That's
No,
sure.
it ain't gonna be Dak Prescott, but Dak's gonna stay where he goes. I don't see him going anywhere. Obviously, if he does, it's gonna be far, far, far down the line. But so that was a fun little game. We'll catch back up later on in the year, and we'll find out where all these guys are as free agency begins. We'll obviously be tracking who we picked, where these guys are going through best free agents available, and all of that type of stuff for you guys as we cover the offseason like we said we would. But just because the NFL season is over, I know you guys haven't seen it in a while, and I know a lot of you were probably sad. I was sad too, because I thought, oh no, there's no more football. What am I going to do? What's going to happen? Well, thank you, XFL, and thank you for hitting hard, because, guys, once again, it is time for another edition of Shit Whip of the Week.
In the league where they let you hit.
Yes, in a league where they let you hit. Let's see if we can get this, if it's going. There we go. Let's see this beautiful hit here. Running down and boom! Just taking him out. I love it. Look at this son bitch. I got you. Bam. Like, just an absolutely beautiful hit. We're going to replay it again. Sometimes it works better on the second. Just here's our Shit Whip of the Week interview, but just absolutely beautiful hit. I mean, look, these are the NFL hits that we took for Shit Whip. This is a beautiful, it looks to be a corner, just coming out of nowhere. I love the blindside blocks, blindside tackles. I love them. Dude got shit whipped.
He saw it the last second. He's probably lucky. That would have been even uglier if he didn't see it at all. And you got to remember, these guys, whether they admit it or not, these guys are trying to get into the league. And so they're gonna ball out. That's why you're going to see plays like that. Some of these guys are former NFL guys and want to get back. So
I'll tell you what, if he continues to hit like he is hitting in these games, then I'll tell you right now, he will absolutely be in the league if he's hitting like this. You put some hits on people like that, you're in the league, and you're in the league soon.
And if he's a corner who can't cover, they'll just make him a safety.
Exactly. Exactly. But guys, so there's your first Shit Whip of the Week in a long time. I know it has been a while, guys, but we're going to continue to do this because it's the XFL and they're hitting hard. I hope you guys enjoyed our quarterback, our preview, so to speak. Next week, during the week, we'll let you know what we're going to be discussing this week. And please, guys, if you host another show, if you just want to come on and talk football with us, debate a topic, anything, over the offseason, we would like to have some of you guys, not even just spur the moment call-ins, but guests arranged ahead of time where we can sit down and we can talk and we can, go over some stuff football related. This is what this part of the year is for. And so we'd love to get to know you guys more. We'd love to discuss football with you more. So please, guys, contact us as much as you want. The link, literally, it's pinned at the top, or it's as simple as you click that right there. You do not need a camera. You do not need a microphone. All you need is a cell phone, and that's it.
Yep.
So I do hope to hear from some of you guys soon. But John, it's a couple of weeks. What's up?
I was gonna say, even if it's something we say tonight and you want to come on next week and say, hey, on the last show you guys said this, or John, you said this, or Drew, you said that, and I don't see it, or I disagree. We'll revisit any topic.
Yes, just because the episode's over, please. If I said something fucking stupid 2 weeks ago, jump on and call me out. It shouldn't be hard to find. You just got to watch the episode. But anyway, John, it is always a pleasure, my friend. And any parting words for our awesome fans?
Well, listen, I say this all the time, man. There's no offseason in football. And now with the XFL playing, there really isn't. Between the XFL and all these free agency moves, the trade, we got the combine's going to be here very shortly. We're going to be talking draft. I think in this year's draft, there's going to be maybe one or two more trades than we traditionally see. I think Matt Stafford, a guy we didn't get to talk to about, I think he might be dealt, and I think that you never know. It could be a surprise guy might get dealt too. So we talk about this offseason, it's going to be probably one of the crazier ones. We picked a good year to start the show. I'll say that much.
That we did. And guys, I don't want to give your hopes up. It's probably about a 35 to 45% chance right now, but I'll find out very shortly here soon. But if we don't make it to the draft, there's a chance we may be invited to the NFLPA Rookie Premiere, where we'll be able to do some really cool stuff with you guys. John, I'm announcing this to you. You do not know about this either. So cross your fingers. There's a chance we may be able to bring you guys some incredible content here in the future. I'm working very, very, very hard on this. Been working around the clock on it. But once again, y'all, thank you so much for joining. I know it's the off season. I know we're not showing you highlights and talking about a ton of games, but you guys are phenomenal. We've had tons of you watching. I'd love to have some of you call in. DM us during the week. Let us know if there's something you'd like to talk about, if you'd like to come on, if you'd like us to cover through the off season, whatever it may be. But John, it's always a pleasure, my friend.
Yeah, man, the time just flies. We must, like I say, we must be having fun when the hour goes that quick.
It absolutely does. And guys, I know John has a new episode of his show out with Dr. James Beckett. Excellent show. I also have a new episode of my podcast out with Leighton Shelton and what's his name? John Newman.
Some ugly guy.
Yeah, John Newman. And so both of our shows in the hobby world are out. Definitely check them out. John's got a new show that's coming out soon. I've got a new video show coming out soon. Lots of stuff coming. But one thing's for sure, RTP ain't going anywhere. It's just getting a lot bigger. But thank you guys so much for sticking with us, and we will talk to you next Sunday, folks.
Good night.